Hello everyone, welcome to a short video on Estonian conjunctions. My aim with this video is not to teach you different conjunctions, but to explain the logic behind them. So let's get started. First of all, the word sidesõna is a compound noun. It means like bond or connection and word. So sidesõna is something used to connect phrases and clauses. So just in case, what's the difference between a phrase and a clause? A clause can stand by itself. It has a verb and that verb says something about who is doing it and when, like present or past. And the phrase usually is simply some kind of noun, or it has a verb form that doesn't tell you who is doing it. For example, in Estonian it's temada süüa tegema. You don't know who is doing it, so that's a phrase. So you can connect those with conjunctions as well. For example, tõde ja õigus, suur saal ja väike saal. Here I used ja, but they can be like või, or usually they are what we call coordinating conjunction in English, but more on that later. And they can also connect clauses. Ma olen väsinud ja mul on kõht tühi. Ma ei osta, sest mul ei ole väga palju raha. I'm tired and I'm hungry. I'm not going to buy it because I don't have a lot of money. But the conjunction you use determines how these clauses connect. So if you use a conjunction that's combining two clauses that can stand by themselves, they're like independent clauses, then that's called a coordinating conjunction. And if you use a conjunction that makes one clause dependent on the other clause, for example, ma ei osta, sest mul ei ole väga palju raha, you can't just have sest mul ei ole väga palju raha as a sentence. It's more like a fragment. It needs some kind of like main clause, because because is a subordinating clause. Like type A sentences use coordinating conjunctions and type B sentences use subordinating conjunctions. So here are some coordinating and subordinating conjunctions in Estonian. Ja, ning both mean and. Ja is more common than ning. And või, or, aga, kuid, so only both mean but aga is more common in spoken speech, but kuid is also very natural in like written Estonian. And then we have subordinating conjunctions, so those that really need some kind of like main clause. Et, it means that. Ta ütles et, he said that. But also it kind of expresses this idea of like purpose or intention. So when the Little Red Riding Hood asks the grandma, like the wolf, why do you have such big ears? Then in Estonian the wolf would reply, et ma sind paremini kuuleksin, so that I could hear you better. Sest, kuna both mean because, kuigi, although, nagu, as if. But if you've learned some more Estonian, then you might have seen nagu used as comparison, sinine nagu taevas, right? So that's one thing to keep in mind. For example, oota kuni värv ära kuivab, oota 5 kuni 10 minutit. Kuni means until. So you can pause the video and think about what's the difference between these two sentences. But the difference is that the first one is a subordinate conjunction, and it is connecting clauses, oota, wait, kuni värv ära kuivab, until the paint dries. And the second one is a coordinating conjunction between phrases, 5 kuni 10 minutit. So 5 minutit kuni 10 minutit. So here, my point is that it is much better to learn to analyze sentences instead of like rigidly memorizing which conjunction is which. There are some conjunctions that can be both. Yes, there are some conjunctions that are always coordinating, some conjunctions that are always subordinating. And if you ever want to start using commas in Estonian, then it is also really useful not to have these like rigid rules memorized, and rather like approach it more logically. So that was my goal with this video as well. So that's it for now. If you have any questions about conjunctions or anything else I didn't cover in this video, of course, do let me know. I know that I didn't include a lot of information here, like a lot of practical information, but like I said, my goal was to give a more theoretical background so you could understand these conjunctions better. Okay, bye!